Members of the Hells Angels motorcycle gang were arrested in Newark this morning for possession of 200 pistol silencers. Federal and Essex County investigators seized 3 men and 1 woman as they attempted to deliver the silencers in Newark's Penn Station. According to officials, the .22 caliber silencers have a street value of $600 apiece. Investigators say the silencers were made in an illegal factory in Colorado and were meant for sale in the greater metropolitan and New Jersey area.
Well, we had an idea that none of it was going to go to the streets in New Jersey because we were going to cut it off. But as far as the defendants were concerned, they thought it was going to be distributed in the New Jersey and New York area for organized crime people, and also, as I stated, to elements overseas, unknown.
Among those arrested was 35-year-old Dominic Mucci of Belmar, who police say was accepting delivery of those silencers. All 4 people face up to 30 years in prison if convicted.
Motorcycle gangs. The image calls up leather jackets, beers, babes, and brawling. But in North Carolina, as Ed Rabel reports, the police say that's evolved into a kind of mafia on wheels.
The 2 major gangs here are the Hells Angels and the Outlaws, and a lot of their time is spent going to gang members' funerals. At least 15 murders have been attributed to gang violence since 1979. This is one of the unique ways they pay their last respects. They are, to say the least, well armed, and the police suspect they are using the guns on one another. Their numbers are few, only about 500 statewide, but they are in a bloody struggle for the drug and vice trade.
It's the new mafia, and they're doing all the things that the mafia's done before. They divide up territories, they kill off one another. In fact, the thing that worries us most is that innocent citizens will be hurt by 2 gangs in warfare.
Charlotte, North Carolina is conservative, law-abiding, a city of churches. So the community was shocked to learn that motorcycle gangs like the Hells Angels have gained a foothold here. Topless bars, massage parlors, and dating services are among the businesses in which the gangs have been involved. Police say that some bikers' women work as prostitutes for the financial benefit of the gangs under circumstances that border on slavery. This woman, a former prostitute, knows the gangs, knows how they can be irresistible to a troubled girl.
Mother kicks her out of the house, and then she gets, on the back of a motorcycle, and here she goes. They show her love and affection and attention, and then they send her out to prostitute, and the girl brings in, anywhere from $915 a week, and they pat her on the back, and they say, you did a great job. Now, here's $100 or $50 to go buy you some new clothes. I love you, you're great. Girls would go where the excitement was at. And this was with the bikers, because there is a hell of a lot of excitement there. For example, going in and riding and raising hell and drinking and shooting in the riding and raising hell and drinking and shooting in the wild parties and the orgies, and it's like a fantasy land. Not perhaps a good fantasy, but it's different. It's a challenge.
Police know the gang leaders, know where they live, and they say they know they're involved in illicit operations, but proving it is another matter. Extremely paranoid, the gangs insulate themselves, staying in their clubhouses behind high fences which give the hideouts a fortress-like quality. Such security, plus the gang demand that a prospective member must commit a crime before he can join up, make police infiltration virtually impossible.
They know almost as much about what we're doing as we do about them. I would say more. We've made case after case against these hoodlum mafia bikers. Yet the witnesses say they're going to cooperate in the beginning, and then when the end comes, they're not there or they're disappeared.
Outpaced, local law enforcement officials are turning to the federal government for help. A crackdown on the lucrative drug and sex business by the Internal Revenue Service is one way to get the gangs, according to Edmiston.
We want to make it so tough on them that they say, North Carolina or this area is not the place for us to be. We're going to get out of here. And then I want the federal government to help me follow them wherever they go. They shouldn't be romanticized. They're nothing but absolute low-class criminal hoodlums.
These are lifestyles that they're forced into. They have no other areas to turn to. So they are recognized. This is, a group, and they stick together. And this is their thing. Everybody needs the people to belong to someone or something, to be loved and to be cared for, just we have other people that can understand, well, I came from a very poor family, or I was abused, or I was left out. My parents didn't love me, or I don't have an education, but I am bad.
All they have is one another. It isn't much. Ed Rabel, CBS News, Charlotte, North Carolina. North Carolina community of Marshville were bemused by the arrival of the Hells Angels. But police were everywhere watching for trouble as about 120 members of the motorcycle gang came to pay their last respects to Charlotte gang president Michael Finasso and gang member Tyler Ferndak. Police believe the rival gangs are killing off each other's leaders. In the past 2 years, there have been 17 gang-related murders, including the 2 latest slayings. Police say the bikers' strict code of secrecy and intimidation of witnesses have stymied them in their efforts to solve the crimes. 150 federal, state, and local law enforcement officials will meet in North Carolina next Monday to seek ways to, in their words, stop the bikers, described here as the new mafia. However, officials say they are at a loss over the inter-gang murders. They are asking each other who will be next. Ed Rabel, CBS News, near Charlotte, North Carolina.
Lawmen arrested more than 130 people today in a national crackdown on the Hells Angels motorcycle gang. Simultaneous raids were staged in 50 different towns and cities by more than 1,000 federal, state, and local officers. Most of those arrested were members or associates of the Hells Angels. They were charged with drug offenses and with violating federal racketeering laws. A state trooper was shot twice during the raid at Hells Angels headquarters in Stratford, Connecticut, and an FBI agent was attacked by a sledgehammer. The action was announced in Washington by Attorney General Edwin Meese.
Hells Angels is raising hell again, this time in court, to fight for what they call their good name. Correspondent John Blackstone has the story.
It would seem that only the brave or the foolish would cross the Hells Angels. But the notorious motorcycle club has been ripped off.
No, we have them in stock.
Says Guinea Colucci, the Hells Angels.
Chief Financial Officer. I handle trademark and copyright infringements.
A California sportswear company called Gotcha has a line of clothing bearing a symbol that looks startlingly like the winged skull. The emblem worn proudly by members of Hells Angels chapters across the country.
They're capitalizing on it. It's our name and our logo.
Your good name.
Our good name, in my opinion, that's my opinion, our good name and our logo is very famous. It's in the category of Coca-Cola, Pepsi-Cola, IBM.
So the Angels are getting tough with the sportswear company. So tough, they've given the job to Fritz Clapp. He's their lawyer.
Violence has never been a threat that comes out of this office. We sue people.
Clapp has slapped a copyright infringement suit on Gotcha, which refuses to comment on the case. Other companies have discovered the Hells Angels are serious about protecting their registered trademark. Usually, though, a simple phone call from corporate headquarters here is more than enough to straighten things out.
Well, the minute they hear Hells Angels, there's probably a gulp, and then the minute they hear what it's about, there's another gulp.
With a reputation since the 50s as rebels and outlaws, some might wonder if the Hells Angels have a name worth protecting. But one of those who has protected it, trademark attorney John Sutton, says whatever their reputation, it is theirs. He quotes Othello.
He who takes from me my good name takes something that does not enrich him, but makes me poor indeed.
Believing firmly that both Shakespeare and copyright law are on their side, the Hells Angels are not about to give anyone a free ride. John Blackstone, CBS News, Oakland.
How they do that? Because like we've gotten in fights, you know, and we've been, you know, knives have been brought out, you know, and we almost got stabbed and stuff, and they come by and they help.
There was another Altamount. There would have been another Altamount here hadn't it been for you.
Let's not exaggerate, you know. They've come out, you know, they've come out and helped us when in times of need, and they can't get in tonight, you know that. And there's a few of us that feel that they should have, you know. They've done a lot for us over the years. You know, and we feel that they should have come in tonight.
Well, why can't they get in?
Why can't they? They got tickets for tonight. There's people throughout the music industry are...
That a representative or a few representatives from the Hells Angels should have been included in the guest list, and none of them were. Is that so?
That's true, because they put their lives on the line with us, you know, and a lot of hassles that we've gotten out here.
Are you a member of the Hells Angels?
No, I'm not.
How did they put their lives on the line? I'm not so sure I understand that part.
Well, you know, we've had a few fights, and they've been there to help us out when we needed it, you know. And here they are, and they'd like to be here, and they can't. They were thrown out, and it's wrong.
Do you think there's still a chance
for them to get in?
Yeah.
Well, you know, if the Hells Angels want to get in here, they'll go in.